ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, what's happening, guys? It is Monday, May 11th, 2020. Man, it is a crazy looking Monday out here in Pittsburgh. I don't know how it looks in the rest of the country, but man, it is like cold. It's super rainy, but man, I'm excited. I'm going to talk to you about how I cure my case of the Mondays, because everybody gets a case of the Mondays every once in a while. Anybody ever called in sick to your company or someplace that you've been and people say to you, man, that person must have a case of the Mondays, meaning that person just doesn't look forward to coming to work every Monday. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to unpack it. We're going to talk about, what causes the case of the Mondays and then how you can kind of counteract that case of the Mondays. So let's get started here. What's happening, Joe, Dayton, Jared? Good morning, guys. Let's see who else is on here already. Let's see. Bruce, what's happening, brother? Good morning. Jeff Nelson is texting me right now, so he'll be on here in a second, I'm sure. The one thing that I will tell you is if you guys don't get excited for Mondays, if you don't look forward to Mondays, then you should really evaluate two different things. It's usually one of two things. It's either number one, you are doing something you don't enjoy and you're doing that for the money. You're not doing it because you have passion in it. Or number two, you hate your boss or you hate somebody that you work with. That's the truth. And that happens a lot. There's a lot of people that get stuck in this rut of, they just go to work because they feel like they have to, they feel like this is what they got to do to put food on their table, to put, food in the mouths of their children. And they don't really have any passion for what they do. And I would tell you guys, man, there is no bigger crime than not enjoying what you do. I am more than blessed to say that I truly and genuinely enjoy what I do every single day of my life. It is a blessing to me to be able to say that. And that wasn't the case my whole life, right? But what I will say, and I had this conversation yesterday at our house with my mother-in-law and with Lori, it's like, I think that people get this concept in their mind that they just have to do this certain thing because they have, some sense of security. And that security comes from familiarity. It doesn't come from real security, like, something that you really have that's going to keep you safe. Because, if you don't enjoy what you're doing or you don't enjoy the people that you're doing it with, then what do you really have? Is you're spending 40 hours a week or more in a lot of people's cases doing something that you don't enjoy. You have travel back and forth. You've got all these different things that calculate into the hours of what you do. And so here's some statistics for you guys. I was looking this up this morning, and I'd heard both of these things, and I wanted to make sure. One, I definitely found. The second one, I found conflicting stories, but it was definitely true at one point. Heart attacks are actually 11% higher on Mondays and the lowest of any day of the week on Saturdays. I don't think that's an accident. Suicide rates have also been reported in the past to be higher on Mondays. I saw some conflicting stuff there that people did different studies. But the reality is what they're saying is that heart attacks are higher on Saturdays higher on Mondays because people have so much stress that it causes them to literally have a heart attack. So think about that. When you are thinking about, do you really enjoy what you're doing? If you don't get excited about coming to work on Mondays, or excited, if you have some kind of anxiety about Mondays happening, then you should look at that and figure out why, right? And so here's what I want to tell you guys. For me, Mondays my best Mondays, I should say, actually start on Sundays. If I don't start on Sundays, my week just doesn't have the rhythm. And you'll hear me say that word a lot. I try to create rhythm in my life. It just doesn't have that rhythm that it does if I start on Sundays. And it's not like I work all day Sunday. It's not like I put in hours and hours of work on Sundays, but I do put in some level of work, right? I do, make sure that Sunday nights I am planned out. So I use my planner. I get everything situated in here and ready for the week. That it might include that planning session for the week. It might include getting a few small tasks that I wanted to do last week that just kind of spilled over, completed on Sunday night. So that creates some momentum for me. You guys ever feel that shift of like, man, I just did something that it took me a week to get to that task, or it took me 3 days. It just kept falling off the plate. And that feeling you get of accomplishment when you actually accomplish that thing. So if you do that Sunday night, imagine you're going to go to bed with a little bit better feeling. You're going to wake up Monday morning. You're going to feel like, man, I don't have all this stuff hanging over my head. So that helps me be able to create some momentum. And last but not least, and I did all of this last night. So I'm feeling great this morning. I'm feeling like I have a lot of momentum and energy and focus and direction for this week. I also go through and I just think through everything that I have to do this week. So I kind of plan it out, but then I also visualize what this week is going to be like and what it's going to feel like when I get to the end of the week and I've actually accomplished all of this. Like I literally put myself in that place of what it's going to feel like when I get everything done. And like literally I can feel the sense of pride that you have when you're done and you have a great week and you accomplish it. You literally put yourself in that state where you can imagine what that feeling is like. What's happening, Carla, Donna, Barbara, Mr. Calloway, how are you, man? Mr. Nelson, you made it. Chenna, what's happening? Good morning. Judd, Rick, what's happening, guys? Bruce, good morning. How you doing, brother? So I did all of those things. So I planned my week last night. I got a few tasks done that have been just hanging out there for me that I wanted to do last week. One of them has been hanging around for a couple of weeks. Not an urgent task, but just something that I know I had to get done. So I wanted to get it done. And then I spent some time like literally just sitting on my couch. I was reading a book. I'm reading a new book, by the way, for all of you guys who are readers. Outwitting the Devil. Reading that one right now. So that one should be good. I'll let you guys know how it is. But it put me in this state of, man, I just came into this Monday with so much confidence. And so I started thinking last night about how many people don't have that feeling of confidence or don't look forward to Mondays. And for me, Mondays, I've trained myself to think of Mondays as one of the most exciting days of the week because it's your opportunity to restart, to refocus, to start again if last week wasn't great, or to take it to the next level if last week created just a ton of momentum in your life. Easy to do, guys. But it all starts with you going to a place every Monday that aligns with your values. And so I want to talk about that for a minute because, I said in the beginning of this, I'll repeat them again so you guys can hear them. If you don't look forward to Mondays, if you don't look forward to going back to work on Mondays specifically, it is one of two things is the majority of the challenge. It is you're doing something you don't enjoy or that you don't have a passion for money, not for any reason that you will feel fulfilled by what you're doing. And by the way, you don't have to feel fulfilled by the actual thing that you're doing. Like, if you want to talk about things that people do, like, there are things that people do all the time that they are not specifically obsessed with the thing that they do, but they are really fulfilled by the process of what happens, by solving people's problems, by the way that they get to interact with people as a result of the thing that they're providing or the thing that they're doing. So think about that. And so number one is you're doing something for money. You're doing something that you don't enjoy. Number two is that you don't like the people that you work with or you don't like your boss, right? So the situation is generally one of those two things. And I just want to encourage everyone to just look inside themselves this week and figure out if one of those two things is the case for you or for someone around you, or if you're a leader, even for somebody on your team. Because here's the catch, guys. If you've got somebody on your team that doesn't look forward to Mondays, they're probably making somebody else on your team not look forward to Mondays. Think about that. They're probably making somebody else on your team not look forward to Mondays. And what does that do to your company? What does that do to your team? What does it do to your culture? It will erode at your culture. It makes that person more challenging to lead and manage. They're going to say things about you, about your company, about all kinds of stuff that goes on there that probably isn't true. And they're doing that because their values are very different than yours, most likely. We talk about this all the time. You know, when you are making a decision to do business with someone, or you're making a decision to hire someone on your team, or you're, having a new person come into your life, the only time that you have issues with people is when your values don't line up. You believe something that those people don't believe. You believe something different. Your mission in life is not the same. And so when you think about that, when you think about if you are a person that doesn't enjoy Mondays, I want you to think about, does everything at the place that you work line up with what you believe? And if it doesn't, then you got two options. You can try and solve that. You can have some conversations with people about what you believe and how you feel. Or you can try and do something different. And what I always say is this, man, I never want to see anybody leave a company if they enjoy it, but if they don't enjoy it, both places will be better. If they have a case of the Mondays every single Monday, I promise you your business will be better. It doesn't matter how important of a player they are on your team. Over the long term, you will be better off. Both parties will be better off if they are not doing business. If you're not doing business with that person, they're not working with you. And I can tell you that from experience, because I've had situations where things didn't line up for me. And I had a lot of anxiety about, exiting those situations because, again, I felt, man, what's going to happen if I do this or that? If I'm not here, man, this is such a big deal. Or, man, how am I going to replace my income? Or, man, how am I going to, do this? Or how am I going to face that? But over the long term, if you remove yourself from situations that you don't fit in, you will typically find a better situation. It may take one time, may take two times, might take three times. But eventually you will find yourself in a place where you are thriving with the people that you are surrounded by. You are excited every single day when you wake up and grateful for the opportunity that you have in front of you. You will start doing things on Sunday nights because you know that it will make Monday morning better, and that will create a better week for you. There will be all kinds of shifts in your life. So I want you guys to think about that. And I know, this is a time also when a lot of people are going through some challenges, maybe at work. Maybe some people are being furloughed, or maybe you feel like that might happen to you. This is a great time for you to evaluate those things and really just get to the core happiness. And I say this for both sides, for leaders. One of the things I was thinking about, it's been a minute since we've done the How I Want to Be Coached forms inside of my company, which if any of you guys want that form, just shoot me a DM and I'll send it to you. It is a form that allows people to kind of express how they want to be coached, where they're at, what they believe, what they need from their coach, what they need from their leader. And now is a great time for you to do that with yourself, with your teams, and really get a feeling for how people feel. Because right now, the tide has gone out and people are kind of standing there, realizing what they're surrounded by. And so now is a great time for you to have those types of conversations and maybe have a redirection. But I will tell you that if you are not encouraged to go into Mondays, you should be, because Monday is an incredible day, man. It's like a rebirth of your life again. It's a rebirth of your professional career. You get to start over again. You get to do new things. You get to redirect. And It's a gift. It's like springtime in your life. And if you don't feel like that, I would tell you to take the time today, this week, to solve that. And if you need some advice, give me a call or shoot me a DM. We'll set up a time, and I'll walk you through kind of, how I have dealt with this in the past. And Rick says he's been an anti-Monday guy at least one time for a 2-year period, and he realized he was the problem. I use a phrase. I won't use the language that I typically use here, but I usually say, man, I've trained a lot of salespeople, and they'll come to me and say, man, this customer was a jerk. And I always say, man, if you just met a customer that was a jerk in the morning, first thing in the morning, one customer, then that customer is probably just a jerk. If you're meeting jerks all day, probably you. It is probably you. Same thing with, people that say, oh man, this particular industry is no good, or this is no good. It's never that. There is never something that size generally that is bad. It is usually the person and how their perspective of that situation is making them believe that. So with that said, guys, cure yourself with a case of the Mondays, honestly, by number one, choosing to wake up Monday being grateful and having an organized Monday morning. That will create a more sense of calm in you. But I really believe that Mondays start Sunday evening. It starts by getting in the mindset, by organizing yourself, maybe completing a couple of tasks that you've been procrastinating. And last but not least, the thing that really, really sets my week on fire is to literally get in that place, get in that headspace where you can think of what it's going to feel like when I accomplish this week. Like literally, I have a sales goal that I think we want to achieve this week. I visualize what it's going to look like on our reports when we get to that level of revenue and profit. I have it all. It's all right here. I've already imagined it. I've already made it true in my mind. And so now all I have to do is take the actions this week to make it happen. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. Please, I would ask you guys, I had it scrolling on the screen there, but if you feel like this could help somebody, please share it out. I always say, we do this every single morning. There's no fee for it. We do it. I do it because I enjoy it, because it helps me start my day better, because I've built incredible relationships by doing this show, and it has been a gift to my life. But if you find it beneficial, the only thing I ask of you is try to share it out to one person. If you find this information to be beneficial to you and helpful, then share it out to one person that you think it could be beneficial to as well. And that will help us grow the audience, grow the show, and hopefully, little by little, change a lot of people's lives. And that's what we're here to do. So the second thing I would ask you is, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, there's some content coming that direction that is going to be exclusive to YouTube. I'm going to start doing YouTube live streams with some guests. So interviewing some guests over there that will not be available right away on Facebook. So if you want to see those live, you want to get those notifications, you will have to subscribe to the YouTube channel. So I am kind of forcing your hand to get over there and subscribe. So I hope you guys will be okay with that and go over there and hit the subscribe button, and I'll get some content flowing your way here shortly on that YouTube channel. There's a lot over there already. And again, all of these episodes, today is 143. You can go listen to them all on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube. Every single one of them is on YouTube video. The videos are all posted over there. So you guys who are recent to the show here, there's a lot of content that you can go back and consume from previous episodes. So real easy. If you just subscribe to the podcast app, whatever one you use, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, etc., they'll deliver to you automatically to your phone. And same thing on YouTube. If you subscribe to YouTube and you have notifications on your phone every day, when one of these is uploaded, it'll come to you there. So whichever way you choose to consume it, and you can share it out on any of those platforms as well. It's super simple. But listen, guys, it's always enjoyable to sit here and share my thoughts with you guys. I am grateful that we got 24 people here live on a Monday morning at 7:30 a.m. For a lot of these people on here, it's 4:30 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. because they're in Central Time or West Coast. So I can't tell you how grateful I am to have the people that support this show, that continue to share it out, introduce new people to it. And I hope that it's helpful to you. I hope that this helps you have a better week. I hope that it gives you some perspective on how you should feel on Mondays. Because the other thing we didn't talk about, but think about this. I'll leave you with this. If you just feel like, yeah, Monday's another day, it's not bad for me. I don't have anxiety. Monday is not just another day. If you are not excited about Monday, then it falls into the wrong category. You should be excited. You should have everything lined out for you to do, and you should be knocking things down starting first thing in the morning. As soon as I click end on this broadcast, I have it all lined out and I'm ready to start running my race. So please think about that today. Think about how you look at Mondays. Even if you don't mind your job, you enjoy your job, but you just don't look at Mondays, you don't want to go back to work, man, you got to change that, because Mondays are a day to start again. It's a day to take your life to the next level. And I hope that you guys take that away from this conversation. Use it for what it is meant for. It is meant to allow you to start new, to refocus, to take things to the next level, to adjust your goals, and to crush another week in your life. You only get one, May 11th, 2020. Make it a great day. Make it a great week, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm grateful that all of you spend every morning with me, and I will see you tomorrow morning, same place, same time, 7:30 a.m., right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys.